there are good things about going to the doctor. And the best thing is taking their old magazines off their hands. This is a Marie Claire from 2019, and there were several others that are dating back to 2018 and so on and so forth. There were also a couple that were relatively new, like this wonderful Real Simple. It is brand new. It's October 2024, so I was very excited and very lucky and got the doctor visit over, took my magazines, and here I am looking through this one. Because sitting in the office, looking through the magazine, guess what I was thinking about? Not so much the articles, which are quite interesting, but what I can do with the images. This one has several celebrities in it. Nothing wrong with that, to use a celebrity in a collage. I just prefer not to because that's just me. I like the way this looks. So I'm going to go through this magazine, decide what I like, put it off to the side, and start building something. This might be one of those cases again that the one magazine has quite a bit to offer. Focal point, maybe a background, not sure. I can always create my own backgrounds as I have been as of late with different watercolor images. Oh, just to give you an idea how old this magazine is, this guy and this gal were in my earlier videos. This one, I'm going to remember the name of it, but I'll show it to you right here with the name because I am not going to remember. I think this was one of my earlier videos where it's very short, very time-lapsed, and I don't say a word. And now this gentleman, I think I did a video on him, but if not, I'll show you that collage as well. That was early on, very early on, and here we are almost 5 years later. Not quite, but we got a lot of videos now on the channel. So here we are, and this is looking interesting. This is what I love when things fall together. Got these two gals, and then we got these two faces. Black and white. Love it. And I don't like using celebrities. This is Charlize, but I like the dress, and she was a model, and she knows how to model, and the stance, all that. I might be using that, I'm not sure. Initially, I'll be honest with you, when I was thumbing through the magazine, I'm like, she is such a focal point. And I'm thinking about, I'd like to cut this away and use half of the head, but I'm really drawn to this right now. So these are potential focal points. I also grabbed this text, and as you know, I'm not a big text girl. I don't use a lot of typography in my collages. Nothing wrong with typography, it's just me. I like this image because I want to just use the hair part. I don't want the face. I was also considering maybe something that is going to be Frankenstein-esque, using different features to build another face. That's been my thing lately, just how I'm feeling. A wonderful little purple rose right here that I'm going to cut up. And I have plans for this too. I want to just use the yellow and make it something of a design element. Can never go wrong with a Lee Krasner painting. See, you don't have to buy a fancy painting or a fancy Prada or Dolce & Gabbana. You don't have to buy these things. You can own them forever as a collage. Ooh, a yummy apple. I love food elements in collage, Yeah, and here's some watches, because I just can't stay away from watches, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, this I love. So when things like this happen, calls for a lot of cutting. This is a case of fussy cutting with this really cool purple rose. So there is so much going on with this one magazine. And that's kind of working out of my element because, as I've shared before, I like mixing up ephemera. I like using something contemporary with something vintage because they bounce off each other. It's a contrast of sorts. Collage is all about contrast. There's color, there is composition, there is content, and that's why you want to seek out contrast. As humans, we just can't help it. See, what a pretty little rose. Put that over here. This is an easy cut. I could be more disciplined and do a straight edge cut with my X-Acto knife. That blade has been used in the last couple of videos. Shame on me. You should replace it, replenish it, if you will, with a nice fresh blade. I'm not, running out of blades or anything. I just bought a huge pack of them. I'm just, sorry, I'm being lazy. That's what it's about. You get into the zone, and I know everybody's going to relate to this. You get into the zone, you don't want to stop. But then again, I run the risk with this naughty little blade that's kind of rusty on me. Not rusty, but it's getting dull. I run the risk of cutting myself, which I absolutely don't want to do, but also the risk of scrunching up the paper, not having a clean cut. The reason I am committing this collaging sin right now is because the paper for this magazine is very, very thin. You shouldn't have too much of an issue with it. And looking at this, I am considering this design element as the foundation of a good background. I don't have anything in the magazine that lends itself to a solid background. I can create my own background in Photoshop. I can create my own background with some watercolor paint, which I've been doing a lot of lately. Don't really declare myself to be a painter, but it is fun. Okay, I like the way that came out. So we have these elements now. And you'd never guess that they were in the same magazine or what they were supposed to be for. So now the fun part is deciding what I am going to do with my focal point. I am very drawn to this, very, very drawn. See, this is the other thing. Color contrast is important. You have black and white with your image. That's important. I like this apple. I think I may want the apple in the image. What I'm going to do is just do a rough cut. Nice rough cut. Put this off to the side. Do I want to keep this? And this is where I'm like, well, that's something else. I don't use children very often in my imagery either. I could hang on to it just for the kids, for the sake of the children. I will put it off to the side. I'm going to keep cutting, and then I'm going to start playing with my possible focal points. As of late, I have been leaning towards something of a Frankenstein-esque approach to collage, putting together elements that absolutely do not belong together. And I thought I was going in one direction, and I went into another. I didn't want to use a celebrity. This is Keira Knightley, and this happened. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like nearly perfect. And I really like the way that is working out. Maybe move it up just a little bit more. I wish the finger wasn't there, but I could probably cut it. Maybe if I need to. I need to do a lot more cutting. I am falling back on my favorites, which is using watches. I'd like to tuck a watch perhaps behind as a focal point. I'm sorry, rather as a background. But then we have this also and this other yellow. And we could just, maybe that'll be it. I don't know. I'm wondering how that might look. That might be interesting too. Take the eye out and yeah, maybe I'll do that. So that's where my thinking is going, just to explain what I'm doing, what my thought process is, and that I switch gears all the time when I am working with collage. Why? Because, for example, the other idea I had, not that one, but with these gals, and I'll use them in another collage. There's a lot of focal point action going on here. You got to be careful. At least I have to be careful, because I thought, oh, maybe something like this will work out. And then I started thinking, well, I need to do something with the heads to make them stand out. But it's like, what's the focal point? You got 3 major images here, and it might work, possibly, but I'm not feeling it. And when I'm not feeling it, that's when I need to be careful. I want to keep it simple, and yet I want it to be interesting to my viewer's eye. So I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep cutting and always exploring and staying curious in collage. Okay, I think we are nearing completion. I think we're done. It came out interesting. That was not anything I thought it was going to be. I like this design element, but I'm not sure if I want to keep it. Okay, wait a second. Maybe like that? I think I was playing with that way too. Not sure, but I liked the eye, how the eye came out. Fortunately, I took it from this very cool image. I'll find other uses for this. It's just, the eye was fantastic. The eye is the focal point, and we did the Frankenstein thing big time here. I do like this. I think it's too much. That's all. And yes, black and white, Frankenstein, clock element, and another apple. I've been using apples lately too. So, apples are good for you. Collage is good for you. And this was good for me. Thank you so much for joining me on this segment of my collage journey. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.